how do you communicate with a manufacturer? You always want to be professional. Whether you're dealing with someone in China or you're dealing with someone in the United States, the more professional you are, the better your relationship will be. You're trying to develop a long-term relationship, not a short-term relationship. And you always want to treat your vendors well. That's something that will differentiate you from your competition right away if you are simply professional and kind in your emails. They are people too. One of the things you can do is invest in a domain. Now, a domain is the www.yourcompany.com or .net or .co. What you can do is you can have then an email that is, say, your name at yourcompany.com. So Eric at mycompany.com. And you can use that email when you're reaching out to manufacturers. That looks much more legitimate than using something, say, basketball42 at hotmail.com or your personal email. You don't want to use your personal email when you're emailing manufacturers because then they'll have your contact information and your email will get flooded with updates and updates. Definitely make a new email address and preferably one that is your domain. There's a trick you can do in Gmail where you can actually send and receive emails from your business email in your personal account. I might make a video on showing how you can do that, but if you do a quick Google search, it's very easy to set up and it's totally worth it. I also highly recommend the Boomerang Chrome extension. This allows you to schedule out your emails. So if you're a night bird and you're up at 2:30 in the morning and you're emailing someone in the United States, it might look kind of weird if they receive an email at 2:30 in the morning. But with this Chrome extension, you can schedule it so it goes out at, say, 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. It also allows you to set up a reminder so that if you don't hear back from that manufacturer within a certain amount of days that you specify, it will shoot your email that you sent out back to the top of your inbox to remind you to reach out to that person again. So it's a super, super useful Chrome extension. The other thing that I highly recommend is Skype. Just jump on Skype to have a phone or video conversation with a manufacturer that you're interested in. You'll be able to cover a lot of ground and a lot of negotiation in a very short amount of time. It also allows you to vet them for legitimacy. A legitimate manufacturer will not mind jumping on the phone with you or jumping on Skype to talk. They won't. If they're afraid of doing that, then you probably want to find someone else. To give you a quick example of an email format that I would recommend is just obviously putting a nice subject about a product that the product that you're interested in, being nice and courteous, nice to meet you. I work for a US-based organization and I'm very interested in learning more about you and your company's product. And then specify the product. In this case, the Road Bicycle Bag. We are currently exploring this type of product with you and several other manufacturers for best fit. We would like to initiate a first order as soon as possible. So here you're letting them know exactly what you want, and you're telling them that you're looking at other manufacturers. So this might spur them to get back to you sooner if you know that your bid is out to other people. And then you're giving that sense of urgency right here by saying we'd like our first order as soon as possible. Here are some of the questions. Do you support private labeling, product and packaging? What's your minimum order quantity estimated per piece, etc.? You might want to add something in here about do you provide product samples, but you can also do that for the next email as well. I like saying, what do you currently have in stock? If so, at what quantity? If you haven't tested this product yet and they have some that are just sitting there on the shelves, you can negotiate much lower minimum order quantities so you can test the market, whether that's on Amazon and eBay or someplace else. It's always nice to know if they have currently something on stock. Next, what is the usual shipping cost in the US by air? Likely, if this is your first order and you want to act with some urgency and you don't want to wait for shipping by sea, which is another headache in itself and takes 6 to 8 weeks to get product, you want to ask US by air and then specify your shipping providers, FedEx or DHL, to X zip code. That might be your residence, that might be an Amazon fulfillment center, or it might be another fulfillment center that you're using. You can provide their zip code and you can get an estimate there. Do you have experience labeling for fulfillment by Amazon? Unless you want to have Amazon label it for you, I always like having the manufacturer deal with it themselves. If they have experience doing FBA, then you know that they should be able to do it the right way. If they have no experience, there is a bit of error there. Thank you for your help, Eric, Procurement Manager. Now, if you put CEO or founder, they may not take you seriously. I mean, you technically are, as an entrepreneur, the CEO, the CFO, the director of marketing, the procurement manager, or the sourcing manager. Put something here. Now, this is called an email signature. You can make this so that it automatically populates in your emails. You can have something here like your quick title, your email name, your email, and maybe a phone number. Set up a free Google phone number, and you can have it right there. Again, this makes you much more legitimate, and they'll be more willing to answer you. This is especially true for things like Maker's Row. Manufacturers will be much more willing to answer your questions if they say, okay, this person's legitimate. They're not going to want to deal with people that they think aren't going to develop longer term relationships. They don't want to waste their time. But the more you do this, the more legitimate you'll look, and the more that they'll want to interact with you. Next, things to look for in a legitimate manufacturer. Years in business. As we saw on ThomasNet, there are easy ways to find out how many years these manufacturers have been in business. And then Alibaba, it's the same thing. Many of you probably already know this, but you can go to Alibaba.com and then right here see how long they have been in business. So this person's been in business 1 year, or at least selling on Alibaba. These people 8 years. So if I were to choose one of these suppliers to contact, I would probably want to contact the one that's been in business for a longer period of time. Now, if you click into it, they should have, they could have a URL that you can go to, or a more fully baked company profile. So this helps you find out whether or not it's more legitimate. You can also look at these badges here, supplier assessment, whether they have trade assurance, things like that. Now, some of these badges you can buy, so I wouldn't put too much credit into them, but they are nice to have. Also, again, a website presence. Some don't have a great website presence though. Like manufacturers in the United States, you'll be lucky if they made theirs in 2005. You might find websites that are made in the 90s, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have bad product or that they aren't good professionals. It just might mean that they don't have a good marketing arm, and that they have larger accounts or larger clients to where they had these relationships and they didn't need to build out a website. But obviously, websites are nice to see. Quality of communication in English. It will make interacting with them much easier if they know English well. So that's something. And if they have someone who speaks English very well, it's likely that they deal with U.S. people or people in the UK or other places more often, and that just helps with business interaction in general. And of course, in Skype, if you can jump on the phone with them, you can jump on Skype, you can do a video chat or a regular chat, get a lot done really quickly. And if they don't want to get on Skype with you, then I would probably suggest going and finding a different supplier, because there might be an issue there. Lastly, how do you pay them? I am 90% sure PayPal does not cover international payments. When I first started getting into these businesses, people would say, use PayPal because it will cover you if someone steals your money. I say 90% because I remember reading in their terms and conditions that international payments are not covered if someone takes your money. Now, I couldn't find it. I tried finding it before I made this video. So if someone can prove me wrong and take a screenshot or send a URL of PayPal saying that they'll cover you if someone takes your money from international transfers, by all means, I would love to hear that. But I'm pretty sure that isn't. So don't listen to people out there saying, use PayPal, you'll be fine, because I'm not so sure. The next thing you can do is use escrow. Escrow is a service that you do through a third party that will basically hold your money and hold the manufacturer's product until both things come in. So basically, it's covering the manufacturer if you're not giving them their money, and it's helping you so that you make sure you get your product. And at that point, when they both come together, the money and the product, the escrow company will look through, okay, is everything covered here? Do I have the right amount of units and such? And then they'll release both things for both parties. Now, there is a fee associated with this, and if a supplier is pushing back and saying, I don't want to use escrow because I don't want to pay for the fee, offer to pay it for them. I mean, it is insurance for you. If you're putting thousands of dollars into it, doing it through escrow and making it a little bit safer for your protecting your investment is a good thing to do. Now, wire transfers. I've been doing wire transfers since I started. It is risky because there's virtually no coverage. But I know I've been dealing with my manufacturer for a while. We did a few payments through PayPal when I thought that PayPal would cover me. And then we started doing wire transfers. And what you want to look at is who is their intermediary bank. So the bank that is in the United States that deals with their Chinese bank and helps mediate payments and transactions. If it's a really legitimate bank like Citibank or JP Morgan Chase, then you know that you're pretty much in good hands, right? Now, there are no guarantees, but that's something to look out for. You could also give people cash in a briefcase, but I don't recommend that. Just kidding. But offer to pay fees if they don't want to do through PayPal or if they don't want to do escrow. Offer to pay your fees and protect yourself. So that is all for me here. Please do me a favor. I would love if you leave a comment, send some feedback, shoot me a message. Say hello. I am working on a website, but only my email works for now. I just really want to do the 80-20 rule and push this out as soon as possible. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. How do you communicate with a manufacturer? You always want to be professional. Whether you're dealing with someone in China or you're dealing with someone in the United States, the more professional you are, the better your relationship will be. You're trying to develop a long-term relationship, not a short-term relationship. And you always want to treat your vendors well. That's something that will differentiate you from your competition right away if you are simply professional and kind in your emails. They are people too.